And if you want to learn a little bit about my past, let me just give you a quick couple minutes. No, this is 2025. Let me give you a few seconds of who I am, and I'll try to do it with photos. So I grew up on a farm. You know, I had country values and all that. We built things, we fixed things. We're blue collar parents and all that. I went to go study engineering, and here I am in being very geeky looking, some math and all that. And then I got lucky. I was at Stanford, the right place, and all of a sudden the internet popped out. It was 1993, and I created the first internet development company. And because of that, I was able to just, I built a bunch of new stuff. I created this as a drawing of the very first online shopping system that had a commercial, public commercial thing. And then I invented banners, central banner and ad networking. So this is more like the thing that caused all the ads. And then here's the very first online dating company. It started in 1994. And then for about 14 years, I basically ran a dating company. So here I am, slowly again, geeking out here. Let's just zoom in, you can see. Yes, fashion. Anyway, I made a lot of money. The problem though is you make a lot of money and then all of a sudden, and you're basically being basically a nerd all your life, and you're you get burnt out, and I got really burnt out. I got, you know, because you got all this money, but you're working too hard and you enjoy it, and you've been like doing tech stuff all your life. So anyway, I got burnt out. I sold the company, and then I had all this regret, like what the hell did I do? And so for about several years, I had a lot of depression, and because what happens is when you regret something. In this case, it wasn't the money and all that I regretted. I regretted selling something that was helping people and turning it over to bankers who do what bankers do. You know, they maximize profit, and that's what the internet has done for years and years. And that upset me. So I was dark and all that type of stuff. But what happened in 2015? A friend of mine said, "Andrew, why don't you learn something worth remembering? You know, for your New Year's resolution." And because the way I was raised, you know, I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. And I was fortunate enough to able to do one painting a day for a whole year. There's 365 little dots of paintings there. And then the next year I did it again because it was so much fun. But the key thing that happened was when I started painting, something miraculous will happen. You know, while over here in my dark days, I was just, my brain was always saying, "Oh, you're a failure. You know, you can't, like." I know. I had millions of dollars at the same time I was a dark, you know, unhappy person. But you know, and it's just because what happens is regret. You just don't get rid of it until there's a lot of times you can ruminate and that type of thing, and it sucks. So what happened was after I started painting for a few months and focusing and quieting down, because when you do art, especially, you get in a Zen state again, which is when your mind is called flow, and that's where you are only focused in the moment, and you're just trying to figure out the line, what color it is, and all that type of thing, and enabled my brain to kind of rewire. And I think that's kind of the healing power of getting a transcendent experience when you look at art, and that's one of the reasons why I have such an affinity to this, not just my own experience, but just affinity for anyone who's attempting creativity. We all can do it. Then what happened simultaneously with the art stuff, you know, this is 2016, and what I call the great unfriending happened. We all know this. We're up on, when Facebook first opened, everybody got so excited. Look, my long lost classmate from 20, 30 years ago, I can see what they're up to. But then what happened, the Trump thing, he got elected, and then people started posting their opinions, and people said, "Oh my God, political stuff," and they just, one button away, you started unfriending somebody you might have known for a long time, and because they had political views that agitated people. And so I call it the great unfriending. And then for the next, I don't know, 10 years, we just got in our own little silos, and each side's media tells people what to believe and all that, and we got divided. And you know, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how I can connect people. You know, I thought dialogue was the way to do it, you know, and I funded a bunch of people that I thought that were at least controversial speakers that could do it, but I found out that people don't want to hear about things that are outside their belief because they think of it as hostile and all that, and I learned a lesson on that. But I learned something though, that what brings people together regardless of their political background is whether or not they're inspired by something greater than that, which I call, or we all call, beauty, truth, and love. When you look at something beautiful, it just says there's no hate in it, you know, and that's the thing that we were trying to do here. So let me just go quickly. And then what this one here is, oh, this is just saying, okay, that was the idea back then, is to use art, and Conru Art Foundation is just my attempt to try to do this. And it's a work in progress. You know, I have ideas and I just start cranking on them, and I get people to kind of help in that. And so I hope we accomplish the things that we're setting out to. It's a year progress. It's going to take several years to get things done. There's bumps and all that and challenges, and frankly, I want to be able to interact with people here in the city and just try my best and all that. And so this other part here, it's another part. I bought back the dating company from way back then, because finally I just got off my ass and bought it, and I'm going to run it as a nonprofit, or kind of like a nonprofit. Oops, and let me just double check it. I want to get some light, because I want to introduce you to the Seattle Prize winners. The Seattle Prize is a contest we just did last year to get, in this case, 8 of the world's best young, traditionally trained or skilled artists to try to create masterworks. And so they're coming to Seattle. They're coming just, I think, next month. And they're going to be here trying to spend 1 year and without any financial restrictions. We pay them full time. Just like Michelangelo was paid. You know, you come, you try to do your best work, because what the challenge is we have with almost every artist, as you see here, they're all trying to pay rent. And you know, one of the problems of, I guess, you know, museum size and complicated work is they take 6 months to make, and no artist is going to be able to spend that much time on a concept or that. And so we're bringing them together. So it's another experiment. So when you come down, you'll be able to see some of the art from these fellows, and we're going to have bios and all that. You can read about them later. But those are kind of the stars that are coming to Seattle to work on kind of work that we're doing down at the Pioneer Square at the Occidental Fine Arts Center. You might learn about that in the upcoming video. So anyway, let me just take you a quick walk through the art that's down here. Again, I probably did, but I forgot. But here's some over this way. I think I did that, but let me show you. Did I show you the ones from the 19th century? Well, first, I'm going to get you dizzy for a minute. So here's some more art. Yeah, it sounds flippant when I just say there's more art. There's just so much great art, and it's just that there's more, and it's just it's exciting. And again, this is not just a gallery. You come here, get a free coffee, have a, you know, if we have pastries, or come to a music event, we have a night. And then afterwards, find your way downstairs and just sit in front of a piece and say, you know, what does it tell me? You know, what's the storytelling? Like, you know, a lot of times people think, well, do I have to have, you know, academic background to really appreciate art? I go to like modern art museums, and you have to like read the label to try to figure out what the artist was thinking. And in the case here, we want to have art that is exceedingly accessible. These are love stories from the artist to you, and so and in order to know if you like it or not, all you have to do is see it. So it's one of the things where it's up to you, of course. But let me show you one piece that we picked up recently. It kind of exemplifies what the art here does. Now, of course, these are all beautiful. These 3 are actually, they're quite exceptional. But this one I especially like, because it shows what human connection is, and the warmth that comes when you're with someone you love. And isn't that a wonderful thing to show? Just a couple other ones. If I didn't show already, these are some of my work. You know, after a few years of painting, I was able to capture some lovely work, mostly of people that I care about, my family. My mom there is one of everybody loves their mom. I love my mom, and what she taught me is this value over here. I put it on my wall. You know, it's like, if you're going to do anything, don't do it halfway. Always put your best into it. And I've been fortunate that if you just keep doing that, and you know, luck and all that type happens. And then just as a little bit of a confectionery, there's one room here of art that is mostly from 1800 to 1950 or so, and it kind of connects us to the rich history that there is when it comes to beautiful art. And so with that, I hope I gave you enough intro of the Art Love Salon, and you come visit, because we're here for you. Thank you, and have a great day. Okay. Hi, I'm Andrew Conru, the Conru Art Foundation, and I'd like to invite you to the Art Love Salon. It's not a gallery where we're trying to pressure you and try to sell art, even though we do have art and you can buy it with no commission. It's not a museum where things old and stuffy. It's like the most beautiful living room and living space that you can walk. It's 250 works of art from local artists, as well as some other collections. And the very first thing you're greeted when you come in is our core values. And our core values are beauty, truth, and love. These values are the things that we should all share as human beings on this earth. And because of that, it brings us all together. Because we don't want ugly lies and hate. We want beauty, truth, and love. And so, come and visit. Now, okay. Now, I'm gonna do this. If I could do this one take, I could just kind of cut everything out, but I can't. You see, that's the whole problem. But I'm going to keep trying. So when you come in, browse some of these values. And what my plan here, I call it the enough principle. Enough philosophy. Okay, now I know it. I call it the enough philosophy. And it's basically, I made enough. And I'm so thankful of it. And I think a lot of tech people especially should be grateful of all the riches that they've achieved over the years, because more or less the internet has concentrated wealth. And especially in that case, you know, you made it from the people. So I made my money from the people, and I always thought of it as the pile. And someday I'm going to get to spending it. And so here I am spending it. And when I'm doing it, why? Because I think it's important that we try, people who are builders can build. And that's what I'm building. Oh my gosh, I got to get going on this because it's a beautiful sunset. I'm going to miss the sunset. That's the whole point. See, when you come here, it's not just a stuffy place to go, but look how beautiful this is. This is, gosh, now it's, because the sun's too bright, I'm gonna have to come down when the sun's down, or we do another one. But I'm gonna just keep filming because screw it. This is Big Puffa. Big Puffa is now part of our permanent collection. We got it when we did our big opening launch. The artists were here, and they're a local couple actually, and what they were trying to capture is the feeling you get, especially when you listen to EDM or electric dance music, and you're in a crowd and the music's just flowing over you and all that kind of chaotic, creative energy, and you become one, the big mob, and you and the music all blend together. And that's what Big Puff is about. Maybe you can pop in, because the glass is a little bit reflective. Now, let me try to zip around here so you can see. Come visit Big Puffa and the Art Love Salon. And isn't this kind of crazy? Anyway, all right. Hi, I'm Andrew of the Conru Art Foundation. This is the Art Love Salon, and this behind me is Big Puffa. Big Puffa is the feeling you get when you do electric dance music or any type of music, when you're in crowds and it's just flowing through you and you all become one. And you might have a Big Puffa or something, but this is how your mind and the picture and all that wonderful stuff. So this is a spectacular little, basically energy center of the Art Love Salon. We zip through that, and here we are. Okay, so that was Big Puffa, and it's one of the highlights here. I especially like how we put a little Buddha next to it, because you can't have chaos without calmness. And so, all right, so these are art that's from featured artists from Public Display. It's our quarterly magazine that we highlight some of the best of local talent, and we give bios and info and all that. And it's been around for 3 or 4 years, and we were so fortunate to have a stockpile of wonderful artists that we were able to reach out to participate in the Art Love Salon. Because, as you know, when people spend time and they get into art, why are they doing the art? They're doing the art because they want to communicate a message to you. And these messages are primarily of human warmth. The type of art that we collect, especially the ones, this is more of the abstract and powerful. Look at these fantastic different elements of color and composition and storytelling. I mean, this is why art is so accessible and so wonderful, and we try to create the most beautiful place in which to see it. And so come, it's at 1110 Union Street, directly across from the Seattle Art Museum. And we got a little thing on the front door, so don't get discouraged. You press a button, we zoom you up, you get to the 5th floor because we're in the top 2 floors of this building. Can you imagine a museum where they said, we're just going to take the top floors? Well, that's what we did here at the Art Love Salon. So let me show you as you walk down. It's quite a beautiful. It's a 2-story and it's got a split here, and somehow right in the middle there's a wonderful stairwell just built up specifically for a museum. They didn't know I was coming, but they built it. There was a tech company before here, and they probably had lovely tech money. Anyway, I'm just being silly. So down here, this is what we call a human warmth center. So the art here is specifically chosen because if you're not going to buy it, I want you to be moved by it when you see it. Be careful about the steps. And so I'm just going to shut up and just let you look at the art behind me, because these are some of the examples of the work you're going to see. Again, almost all local Pacific Northwest artists, a little bit some down in the Portland area, but for the most part it's up in Seattle. And yes, we love you guys in Portland. Thank you again for participating. This is such an honor to have your works here. So as you show, walls and walls, and it's called a living gallery as opposed to one in which we have specific shows. And what I mean by that is, since I've selected the art for its ability to connect you to the human condition, the art itself is the exhibit. It just stays up. And what we do is we rotate in from time to time new works. When art gets sold, we replace it with new work, as well as we can then look at the QR codes. Here, check this out. So for example, I'll be careful, some of these are nudes, so let me find one that's, we have a lot of nudes. So if nudes are your thing, you're gonna see nudes, but just so when I zoom in here, I don't get in trouble. As you see, there's a little QR code right here. And if you pop that thing, you'll be able to message directly to the artist, and there's no commission and all that type of thing, because that's what philanthropy is for. We're fortunate enough to use your money to build this thing, so here we are. So why should I take it from the artist?